Hello, you're back with Beatle, back on Survivor IO. The Void Power, how good is it? So recently just unlocked the Void Power, managed to get it to Excellent +2. Can't do a direct comparison to any of these as they are epic, so I don't think it would be fair, but I will just be trying it out in one of the chapter modes, going into chapter 19, Desert Path, and we'll be looking at how good the Void Power actually is. This is the first time that I have actually used it completely. I've seen videos, but haven't actually used it myself. Here we'll just get the drill shot, so I'll just be pretty much looking to see how good it is compared to the other weapons that I use in this run. We'll get the Molotov here. So from what it looks like it's just sort of firing black holes and they get sucked in. So I'll be interested to see if the black hole stays there. I'll just get the drone here. Do the other enemies that run into it also die? I also wonder what the upgrades are going to be for it. But so far, it actually looks like it could be a very strong gun. Obviously, the area of effect is going to be absolutely massive, especially if the black holes get bigger. I wonder, does it just sort of kill every enemy that touches the hole? There is going to be a bit of sort of work. I'm going to have to see if I can work out exactly what the damage of the weapon actually is. I'll get the modular mine here, and maybe I'll look to get the Inferno bomb. Why not, as we've got the Molotov. So still waiting to actually get the upgrade for the Void Power. So I don't actually know what happens when you do upgrade it, whether it just fires faster, I'm not too sure. You know what, I think I'll actually just refresh this, as I would try and like to get the black drone, and there it is. Thankfully that was quite a lucky reroll, so we'll take the black drone there so we can actually get the destroyer, which is always a good comparison, especially since we're doing the Void Power as a comparison of the weapons that we're using in this run. It will be interesting to see how much it does there. So it looks like it does about 2,300 damage when the Void Power weapon actually hits, whereas I can see some of the other weapons doing around 7,000 plus. So I don't know if it's a sort of a constant effect, the Void Power, or if it's just one sort of a lot of damage and that's it. But I guess we will try and actually find out the details of what the weapon is. On the lucky train here, we only get the drone, unfortunately. Still actually waiting for a Void Power level up. So hopefully that'll come soon, so I can actually see what happens when you get the upgrade, if it just makes a bigger hole or fires faster. I'm not actually too sure, so we'll find that out. But I really like the area of effect the Void Power has. Could be actually one of my favorite weapons. It just seems like you're going to be really safe. As the enemies get closer, you can just sort of fire this sort of black hole and stand in it, and then any enemy that comes to you just seems to die. Let's just get the drone there. Zombies incoming. This will be a bit of a test, as there's usually a lot of enemies that come at you here, so it'll be interesting to see how it takes on large amounts of enemies, though. As I say that, this zombies incoming is rather underwhelming, so maybe we won't see the potential. And it's interesting that it's still level 1. I still haven't actually seen the upgrade for it, so we'll just try and find that now. There we go, first upgrade for the Void Power. Black hole damage doubled. Interesting. So it isn't actually what I thought it would be. I thought it might fire quicker or get bigger black holes, but I guess damage doubled is going to be good as well. Although I hadn't actually seen any enemy go through the black hole, so it seems like it does enough damage. But obviously for bosses or elites, or even enemies with a lot of HP a bit further down the level, could be very helpful. But so far I actually really like the Void Power. It seems to do really well. I wonder how it would also do in the Ender's Echo. I assume probably not as good as the kunais. It's a bit slower, and obviously you've got to aim the gun as well. But yeah, so far so good. I also like how you can always have a black hole on the screen, so if you are struggling, you can just sort of constantly move forward like this, and there is always a black hole that you can sort of stand in the middle of. So if there's a lot of enemies on the screen, it seems like it could be quite a safe way to try and not take damage. I think I'll have to see what it's like when the enemies do have more HP. I'm not sure what that will be like there. I'll get the drone just to sort of see if the enemies can go through it, and how likely it is that they have got enough HP to actually move through the black hole. Not too sure, but so far I really do like it. I think it's a very strong weapon, but obviously we will have to wait and see to the end to see what the damage comparison is like against some of the other weapons I am using. Note it is still level 2 as well, and obviously I haven't got any of the sort of cooldown passive upgrades for it. Not actually too sure which one gets the Evo upgrade for it, but again, that is yet to be seen. Let's see what it's like on the boss then. So does it deal damage over time? I think it actually does. Yep, it does. So that's actually quite good for bosses, to be fair, or at least bosses that stand still. Let's just get on the lucky train here. Hopefully we at least get one of the... We don't. We'll get 2 drones and a Molotov, fair enough. Already got the destroyer at 5 minutes in. That is really quick. It's one of the quickest destroyer upgrades I've actually got there, so we'll take it. We get the weapon slot back after getting the destroyer. We'll just get the RPG there, why not? And here we go, Void Power. Obviously we picked up a magnet there. There were loads of gems on the floor, so we're just sort of leveling up a bit, and we will get the Void Power here. So it looks like the size of the black hole has actually HP increase there. So I presume I didn't actually read what that upgrade said, but it looks like the size has actually doubled. So I thought it might have just the damage doubling every level up, but obviously it looks like there's size and damage, which is really good. And if I can get the attack cooldown, I think that'll go really well with this weapon as well. Let's just get the drill there, try and level up some of the other weapons we've got. Here we go for the next void power upgrade. So it adds more black hole damage, so it doesn't double, so I presume this is less than double, else it would say double. So I still think that is going to be okay. I wonder how much damage that actually did go up, not too sure, but I mean realistically it's killing things instantly when they hit. Everything just sort of gets sucked in and they die. So adding the more damage, obviously a good thing for enemies with more HP. Adds more black hole damage again. Just seems like it's a bit overkill at the moment, but obviously when enemies get more HP, that will be very handy. But as you can see here, in the big groups of enemies, once you fight it, everything just sort of gets sucked in and dies instantly. So I really like the weapon. I think they sort of get sucked into the middle and then the damage over time happens, but it seems to just kill everything instantly that touches the hole. So really happy with the weapon. Actually, it's better than I thought it would be. I saw some videos of it before I managed to unlock it, but yeah, I think this will be very handy for the chapters, and it probably even would be an interesting damage comparison, even though it is only excellent and I've got a couple of epics. But it could even be worth a damage comparison video as it is, just to see how it does. And here we'll just get the drill. So I haven't actually seen the passive upgrade that allows for the Evo upgrade of the void power. Whether I'm blind or just unlucky and haven't got it, I'm not too sure, but I'm hopefully I can get that quite soon. It would be nice to see what the Evo upgrade is for it. There's also a lot of gems on the floor, so I am trying to find a magnet, or at least just run around and try and collect the gems, or at least as much as I can. So I've just got a magnet which has given me a couple of levels. One of them is the Exo Bracer, which is overtime effect duration plus 10%, but if you look at the bottom, it is also the Evo upgrade for the void power. So I'll get that, and hopefully in the next level, there it is, Gloom Nova Life in Death. Let's have a look at what the Evo for that is. Is it going to be bigger? Wow, it swirls around, so I presume that just does more damage. Not too sure, to be honest. I think it is just slightly bigger radius and maybe more damage. I think we're shooting a bit quicker as well, as you can pretty much actually have 3 of these black holes on the screen if you get lucky enough to shoot enemies close enough. There can be 3, but definitely 2 on the screen at any one time, which is more than what it was before, so I presume it shoots a bit quicker there as well. But realistically, that is a really good weapon. Really looking forward to do the damage comparison at the end, just to sort of see how much damage it is doing, and I'm hopeful it's going to be quite near the top, or I'll be quite disappointed if it isn't, because I actually really like the weapon. As I'm also doing the comparisons of the best weapons to use on the different types of stages, I would assume that the void power is probably going to be more beneficial for the square modes or even the vertical modes, as the enemies are more grouped together, and this is obviously a very big area of effect weapon. So the open stage of which we're doing here is probably the worst map for it, even though it is quite good. There we go, boss goes down easy enough. There was a lot of damage over time that the black hole was doing there. There we go, so we actually finally get the Inferno Bomb, and that actually opens another slot back up. And what I did realise, once you've got the Inferno Bomb, you can actually get the Molotov back again. So we will get the Molotov back. So now we have 2 lots of fire-dealing weapons. In addition to the black hole, this is going to be a pretty overpowered build. Obviously, we got the Destroyer as well. So we've got 4 weapons for the price of 2, with the addition of the extra 5 from the Molotovs coming back as well. I think the Energy Cube is also very good when using the void power, as obviously having that attack speed increase works very well, as it's done on a percentage basis. The slower the attack speed, the better the upgrade is going to be for that weapon. So the fact that the void gun is actually a relatively slow firing weapon means that the energy cube affects it a lot more than if it was the Gatling gun, for example. So I would definitely recommend getting the energy cube if you're going to use the void power. It seems like you can get so many more of these black holes on the screen. Now there's definitely 3 coming up to 4 sometimes, so really like that. And obviously the overtime effect duration keeps the black holes on the screen longer, so they're dealing damage. So if you get that along with the faster firing, then it's just going to be a chapter full of black holes, which is certainly going to be very helpful. There we go, Whistling Arrow, just got the ammo thruster, so now we can get the Whistling Arrow, the Drill Evo upgrade. And I think there's actually only now the the Molotov that isn't Evo upgraded, but obviously we did get that most recently, so it'll be an interesting damage comparison at the end to see how this void power actually does. So there is an elite on the screen. As you can see, even though the void power doesn't kill it instantly with the black hole, it does actually just sort of suck it in place, so it doesn't actually come and attack you, which I think will be very helpful. It could also be very handy for the mega challenge, where there's a lot lots of enemies running at you and a lot of elites with a lot of HP. So I think the Void Power, I'm going to try it on the next Mega Challenge, and we'll see how it does there. I think here, where there's a lot of enemies running at you, considering you can just keep firing sort of right in front of you, the black hole, or maybe just sort of keep stepping forward, nothing can really actually do any damage to you. Whether or not this is just overpowered because it's doing a lot of damage for the stage, I'm not too sure. Let's get the HE fuel here. We can get the Evo upgrade of the RPG, which we hadn't actually got, which I'd forgotten about, but there we go. But yeah, it just looks like it's going to be very hard for any enemy to actually get too close to you once there's a lot of enemies on the screen, as all the black holes hit the nearest enemy, and you can just sort of go through each black hole, and every enemy that gets close to you just gets sucked in and dies. So it seems like a really overpowered weapon, to be honest. I'm glad I managed to get lucky enough to find it, and there's the shark mod gun as well. Here we go. So boss assault incoming. You can see that it doesn't actually suck the boss in place, but it does slow them down from when they're walking. It doesn't actually do as much damage as well. The last couple of level ups here, I think there'll be quite a few gems on the floor, to be fair, so we will try and get as much of these as we can. There we go, and now just the boss, and as you can see, you can sort of hit him with the black hole and he just sort of moves slightly slower, which I suppose is quite handy, and you've got all the other weapons that do the damage. There was a lot of fire on the stage there as well, so really interested to see the damage comparison here. Oh my lord, it's actually only 7%. That's really surprised me. Inferno Bomb at 32 and the Molotov at 26. Now, there was a lot of fire on the floor there, but that's over half the damage just done by the Inferno Bomb and Molotov. Only 7% by the Gloom Nova. Maybe it isn't meant to be the sort of main damage dealer. It's maybe more control and keeping them slowed down and in one place, so that is an option as well. But realistically, I thought this was a really powerful build. I never really felt in danger at all, and considering we're on chapter 19, I know the stages are getting a bit harder, but I really like the Gloom Nova, even if it only did 7%. I'm really looking forward to using that weapon in a few more videos and chapters and stages coming up. So there we have it, Gloom Nova. I really did like it. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have found it entertaining, handy, useful, please do like and subscribe. It really does help me out, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.